Morning. Good morning. I'm so excited to join you. As Tracy mentioned, my name is Shakira Dennis. I lead Next Wave Strategic Consulting Group, a public affairs and political strategy organizing firm based in Houston to have a robust body of work in civic and political organizing with a special emphasis on public engagement and political strategy. We're so excited to be joined by women who are truly representative of the grassroots across the state of Texas, and specifically being led by African American women. Give them each a round of applause for their work. We'll first start by giving each of them an opportunity to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about what they do in their respective counties. We want to start with Ms. Almeda Dent.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Almeda Dent. I am the Vice President of Coalition of Black Democrats for the state of Texas. And I'm also the Vice President of the Houston Black American Democrats in Houston. I'm on the board of A. to the Randolph Institute. I'm also on the board of the United Steelworkers of America, Retirees Group, and the list goes on. However, I started out in college where Barbara Jordan was governor for a day. And to get extra point, our professor at the University of Texas Southern invited students to go to the Capitol to witness it. And that's how I got started. And that's how it's Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sharon Berry, and I am from Houston County, often mistaken for Houston. I get a lot of calls. I guess a lot of my activism is because people believe me to be in Houston. And then after they ask me and tell me everything, I said, no, I'm Houston County, but I'll take that anyway. My husband and I ended up retiring. We're both retired military. And we were in Tarrant County for 13 years, and after the children graduated, we went and moved back. We have a ranch out in East Texas. So that's how I ended up in Lovelady, Texas. Population 609. And I went to a local Democratic meeting, and Congressman Jim Turner, his wife, was there. And I was just sitting there thinking, like, what am I going to do here? And she said, you know, Sharon, I think you should be chair. And I said, okay, I didn't know what the chair did or whatever. I said, okay, it'll give me something to do. And they put my name on the ballot, and I won with 900 votes. And I said, oh my gosh. And so I was really pleased. And so we fast forward, this is my second term. We just elected our first African-American female, Dr. Anthea Fisher, and we own City Council. We have a family court judge, is a Democratic female, and our county attorney, Daphne Sessions, is an African-American female. And so I found, for me, and my effectiveness was, you know what, first you have to ask people to vote, and you just have to let them know they matter. No matter what their circumstances are, you matter. And I think we miss the vote, a lot of us, because we don't ask or we stop asking. And so that's what I do. I simply, on behalf of my candidates, I ask them to vote.
Good morning. My name is Vera Roberts. I am a member of 820 Carbon Democratic Action Club, where our focus is getting youth, which means high school and college students, registered to vote, and then we also engage to make sure that they actually go out and vote. I'm also a member of Black Texas Forward Chapter of the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats, where our focus is getting us engaged. I'm also a member of NAACP, where I serve as an at-large board member. I am on a volunteer for Trinidad Democratic Party, where my focus there is making sure that every site, polling location, is represented by a Democrat. That is my focus, that is my focus in life, to make sure that we are represented, that no one goes to those polls, that no one is intimidated when they get there by either the party or people just coming there to act silly. That is my focus. Blessings.
Good afternoon, my name is Paula Bowden, and I am Senate District 13 Chairwoman. And what that means is Harris County is built of 9 counties, 9 Senate districts, and I chair one of those. In that district, there are 806,000 voters. I first got involved in the community activist many years ago. My son also followed my lead. He is the he's the chief of staff for one of the councilwomen, and also with a political background. But in my household, we always talked about politics because our community matters. It starts at the dinner table, and it should go beyond the dinner table within our communities. I am committed to the voters. I believe and have always believed that voting is not a privilege, but it's a right for all. I'm a no-nonsense person when it comes to voting. It's all we have, lift our voice. And so it's important to me to have that dialogue within our communities. I first started as a delegate in 2008 for the presidential 2008 election, President Barack Obama. The position that I currently hold right now, I was actually encouraged by the previous Senate District Chair to become more involved. And so here's where I sit today.
Let's give each party stage partners a round of applause. We are going to dive right in. So the purpose of the conversation is some special emphasis on the grassroots level. We heard a little bit about many of the pressing issues that are happening in our community. Greg Reynolds and our other respective panelists spoke about redistricting, spoke about the census and the importance of that information permeating to average everyday citizens, right? And that's why the grassroots level is so important. And so my first question I would pose to each of the panelists is, why is it important to have a sustainable grassroots infrastructure, especially given today's civic and political climate? Why is it important that we have a grassroots infrastructure that's sustainable, specifically in communities of color?
It's quite important because once again, you are the face of your communities. And it starts at ground zero within the grassroots. Encouraging your voters to lift their voice one by one. You heard me say a second ago that there are 806 within our voting district. So I can't reach them all. It's not possible. But there are 236 precinct chairs, just as myself, that does. And so within their respective communities, they reach out, as you guys do, to their communities. And so it's important that the community get involved and the encouragement from the leaders or activists within the communities to get involved and motivate on a grassroots level.
It's important that we all get engaged and that we make sure that young people in particular know that they are not alone, that their vote counts, that their engagement counts. By me being a seasoned voter, my goal is to make sure that every youth in Tarrant County that I come in contact with knows that it is important for them to get on the couch, get on the wall, make sure that they know to get engaged, and for them to reach out and get other people engaged in their age group, everyone that come in contact with, because no one will step up to the plate for us but us if we don't show that we want to be engaged, we want to be represented, and we want to be empowered to continue this political action.
For me, it's important because I have three ladies, and for me, their positions are, what goes on in the media, what you hear every day. It's one thing to tell a voter, this is going to impact you. But what they do for me is they take what they hear and bring it down in layman terms and say how it affects you. And then we put that into the communities, to the ministers' wives, and I always try to single out one particular person that they know we have helped. So that infrastructure is, I call it that crosswalk into what you hear and how it affects us. And so it's just important to meet everybody where they are.
I would like to dig to everything that was said thus far and expound on the fact that we have different issues and other communities have the same issues, but ours don't get addressed because we're in a different zip code. Sometimes we're all together in one area. If we don't make sure that everyone understands how it affects them, then nothing gets done. You can't sit back and say so-and-so is elected, so they don't handle it. If the issue comes up, you need to talk about it. Talk about it among your friends, start at the family first, and then just keep talking about it. Make it a household conversation. Every community needs to be able to feel free to speak what's on their mind. You may want to start at your home, then you want to start in your precinct. We have other avenues, the churches, the schools. But when something comes up, like there was a shooting here in Dallas, and then everybody wants to come and rally, why do you wait until there's a tragedy? Yeah. These issues are underlying issues, they're always there. Just go ahead and start working on it, just slowly. But when it's time for an election, you won't believe how many people go to the polls and don't even know there are propositions on the ballot. That could be a conversation right there. You had 10, 12 propositions. They had one written, I think it was number 4, statewide. And if you vote yes, you was voting just your own interest. But the way it was written, it was written that you was going to get this tax stop.
Yeah.
In order to do what we wanted to do, we had to vote no.
Exactly.
Now, you need to remember, if that was a Democratic primary, every proposition is written where you would say yes. They want you to vote yes. This was a special election. It came down where it was a nonpartisan race. So some of the old people knows that in the Democratic primary, we always, Representative Rivers, he just stepped out. At the Democratic primary, every proposition is written where we want you to say yes, we want you to vote for it. But in a special election, you really have to read it and have a pro and con list on where so you can decide if you want it or not. So there was 2 this year that we need to vote no on. But if you just read the title, you'll swear, well, yeah, I want to do that. But no, you didn't want to do that because it hurt us.
But that's why it's important that we have precinct chairs and county chairs to represent us, so we can make sure we get the information down to the person that needs to know.
I'm going to expound on that. And I want to thank Dr. Shannon earlier. You shared some very pertinent information that I think I really want us to kind of really take a look to go back and talk about the importance of the grassroots infrastructure and why it's needed, like to permeate information to our respective bases. But what strategies that will witness that are proven to be instrumental and preparing to be successful in educating and mobilizing in your respective county?
When I first started, I was with a group of labor and a group of Democrats, Black Democrats, Ernest McGowan Sr. and Doris Hubbard. And what we would do is we would encourage each precinct to have a breakfast twice a year at a local church. Who would pay for it? The current elected Democratic candidates, all current elected Democratic people, and the current candidates that are running for office. So you invite everybody in that one precinct to come meet your elected officials. At the same time, they met the candidates that be running for the next term or whatever term was there. At this time, we had questions from the community. After everybody's introduced themselves, we let the audience direct the flow of information. If you had a question about whatever it was, we would entertain it. This is how people got informed, but they also felt inclusive. So there's all kind of ways we could do it, but you can't just elect someone and let them go and say you're going to him. You have to keep them in check.
I think for my community, a good way to engage in good tactics that we use is we use block parties. And we just kind of rotated in and out, you know, have a different one in this area, a different one that area. But it gave the candidates a chance to kind of talk and answer questions, and for the community to see who's there, what they're doing. And another thing was we game. And you go in the park right at this moment, I guarantee you, and you'll find the domino game going on. And so that was a way to just engage them. And again, my favorite is you meet them where they are.
I just want to expound this a little bit. We also need to, our representatives, senators, Congressman has meetings throughout the year that we as activists attend. Not only should we attend those meetings, we should also bring somebody with us and invite them to bring somebody with us. Because if we keep it among ourselves as activists, the congressmen and representatives are really preaching to the choir. If we bring somebody with us, invite others to come, then they will get engaged and the ball will continue to roll. Otherwise, we're just holding to ourselves, and keeping anything to yourself is non-productive for your county.
I agree with all what they said already, but for SD13, what we do is we try to keep the community engaged every single month. We invite an elected official to come out and speak to the precinct chairs or to the audience that is there. And I encourage them to ask the hard questions. We hold their elected officials accountable, we place them in office, and so you should be able to have an engaging conversation with elected officials or share with them thoughts and ideas. So that's one. Second thing, I encourage the precinct chairs to constantly have a communication with their communities. For instance, rather than wait until the election season to call your respective areas and encourage them in voting, or at least ask them to participate in the process, then why not talk to them on a consistent basis? Make them your friend. They're your neighbors. So it's easier for someone to respect or participate if they've seen you enough times or talked to you enough times. It doesn't become transactional. It actually becomes a relationship. So I encourage commitment to the community, relationships, and I also invite every single month, I invite a different political official to come in our meetings. And I asked those guys to support them.
Thank you. Those were all great answers, and then instructed by Tracy to let go to speak a little bit more into the mic so everyone can hear. So I want to take a deeper dive into the issues. I know we touched on a few as it pertains to census, redistricting, going to move to like education, criminal justice reform, civic engagement, voter mobilization, and things of that nature. Why is it important to ensure that we talk about our grassroots issues? I mean, you understand that the electorate, some people are driven by criminal justice reform, others by education, others by healthcare. How are we ensuring that our respective platforms are reflective of the electorate and the issues that drive them to the poll?
Each one of those issues concern people that look like us. It's a hard conversation to have, but it's a meaningful, it should be a meaningful conversation. Prison bail loan reform is very important to people that look like us that may not be able to afford the necessary representation. Education is high on the list. Education is quite important. If we had better systems that is more favorable toward us, perhaps we wouldn't need to have that discussion about criminal justice reform. But it's an issue that it's an ongoing issue. So these are various conversations to have. Well, one may not affect your home directly, but another will. And within our within our communities, every issue matters. I'm going to say something real quick if you'll allow me. We touched on something earlier about the propositions and the subjects that were on the ballot this time. I worked, not only am I a precinct chair, but I'm a presiding judge, so I worked the election. And one of the things that really, really broke my heart, and as community activists or grassroots leaders, our work is never finished. It's never, in fact, it starts every single day over. In my election poll, there was a gentleman that he didn't know, he wasn't educated on the propositions, and so he asked me for my assistance. Well, I can't encourage anyone to make the choices. I can only just help them with the mechanicals. And so he looks at me and he says, what is this? And I read it out loud to him, hoping that he could hear those little important points, and he did not. And he said, well, I don't know what this means, so I'm just going to vote against it. And that's fine if he votes against it, but he didn't know what he was voting against. And that broke my heart. And I couldn't say anything. All I could do was hold my head down and have my hands behind us, because that's what they tell us. They don't want us to touch those machines. And that broke my heart. That lets me know work's not done, there's more to be done.
And we touched on something that's very important, just educating, the electorate, right? Oftentimes it's too much, it can be extremely overwhelming, right? When you get to the ballot box, you're like, I know I'm vote for my council member, I know I'm vote for my congressional leader, however, Proposition 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And you don't know anything about them. You're reading it, and the language isn't really resonating with you, and so sometimes folks just knee-jerk reaction is no, or they just skip it, right? Which could ultimately be harmful, right, to our communities. And I want to talk about a little bit more about voter education. And next year, in 2020, we won't have straight ticket voting, and that's a conversation that I think we should spend a little time on what we're doing, right, to get prepared, to educate and empower our community to be prepared, right, for that difference on the ballot and what that looks like. And also, let's talk a little bit about collaboration. Who will be working with nonprofit leaders, business leaders, grassroots, community activists, and things of that nature. What are your plans to permeate that information?
Well, I would like to talk about those straight ticket voting. Now that we don't have it anymore, a lot of the Democrats are so afraid. But I'm here to tell you, it's going to hurt the Republicans more than it would hurt the Democrats. When you vote straight ticket, a lot of people don't know who to vote for, so they vote straight ticket, so a lot of people swing in. But if you educate your people with a push card at the polls, it'll be the same thing as a straight ticket vote. Because if we had had a push card for the proposition, all they had to say was 4 and 8 is no, and all the rest of them yes, then they wouldn't have to think about it so much if they had not been educated on those issues. So, straight ticket voting was very powerful our last election, because I know at least 7 people that got in only because of straight ticket voting. They had no intentions of winning without straight ticket voting, but they did get in. Now they have to show themselves as to what they are. If they didn't know what they were doing, the next thing they need to do is put somebody around them that will do pros and cons and make their own decision. We would really need to educate everyone on all the candidates. And when you have a new candidate that's running, some people say, if you don't have enough money to run a campaign, you shouldn't run. Well, sometimes that's true. However, I was on a campaign, her name was Ann Harris Bennett. Shakira, she had $2,000. Her opponent had how much, Shakira? $200,000. We went in the primary. But we went everywhere and anywhere. That's number one. But what also helped her is she had ran 3 times before. So her 4th time they claim as a lame duck, which is normally true. But the problem is, what they didn't know is, every time the people saw her name on the ballot, they didn't think that she had lost 4 times.
That's right.
They thought she was winning for re-election 4 times. So when you get ready to run, you got to do your pro and con. And so this guy came here. I mean, I want to help you, but y'all ain't got no money. Y'all not too big to win. And y'all can't get no signs. And y'all keep, I said, let me tell you something. I haven't seen a sign yet that voted. Okay, I haven't seen a sign. I said, she's a candidate. She has no skeletons. She has no problems. She just didn't have money. We kept her away from her home. She was out every day, everywhere. And we started out around the city. So I looked at an area where I know this wonderful, and this young man is absolutely wonderful. He really is. Matter of fact, I had told him I was going to help him in a race, but if he changed the race and went to the one that I was already committed to. That's the only reason, because at the state convention, I pulled him over, he was walking with a candidate, and I actually grabbed his hand and told him I would help him in this particular, this next race, but he changed races. So then, that's okay. He has a right to do that. But where he went wrong is, he promised me he would tell me before he did. I found out from the wrong person, not somebody else, but the wrong person. So I had to go in there hardest nails. The guy is absolutely wonderful. I don't know if he's going to run again, but he is absolutely wonderful. Now, the other thing with that is, we worked it. But I realized where he was going to concentrate. He was going to concentrate where I would have concentrated in. Boris Miles and Al Edwards had built up Senate District 13 so big, people was after that community all the time, and they were always voting. Is that right? So what I did is, I looked on the map and found a state rep that never had opposition. Symphonia Thompson. Nobody never ran against him. So that area, the turnout was a turnout, but it hadn't been worked. So I went over there, and I worked everything. Didn't put a dime in Sunnyside. Didn't put a dime in 13. We have $1,000 in there. But didn't put no bodies in 13 at all. We went to Symphonia Thompson's district, Hal Dudley's district, the other Hispanic Wally district, and I worked just those districts. And if you pull up this map, this Google map, it'll show you what every precinct, how they carry. And we won the primary. Now remember, when you win the primary, you just won the primary, you won the election. Here come the Republicans with voodoo money. 3 times the amount of money they got in front of them. So what do, Dean? We went ahead and we worked the area again. But we did it low key, wasn't all media, it was all low key. And she had a wonderful personality, everybody loved her, and now she is our tax assessor collector, voter registrar.
That's how I regret. In Houston County, and I think this would be the same for rural Texas, this isn't a problem for us because we always vote paper, or we vote paper ballots. And so, as soon as we find out who the candidates are, we do, before the actual ballot comes out, we make our ballots, and we just pass them out into the communities. This is who we're voting for. So if we got the opportunity to vote straight ticket, that was great. But most people in rural Texas, they like to go down, and they like to, shade the box area. So that wasn't an issue for us. And I agree, straight ticket for Houston County is going to hurt the Republicans far greater than us. Because we never really relied on straight ticket. And then that's something like I said, we just don't, it's not a problem for us. But we do, as soon as we find out who the candidates are, we make it a point. And on election day, outside of that 100 feet marker, I have a person at every polling place, way out before they get to the thing, to tell people, do you have any issues? Do you know what the issues are? Do you think you need any help? Just whatever the issue is. And then my number is all over. Everyone knows. Call Sharon, and find out. And same thing with the proposition. I had my mayor saying, I'm not sure about this one. She's, but what is going on? And what do we need to vote on? And as soon as I did that, then I called up all my precinct chairs, and I said, this is the way we need to vote. So make sure the word gets out. And, so a lot of things we did by word of mouth. And for me, a lot of my workers are elderly women. And I'll say African American, definitely over 65. And so they're not going to go on the computer or whatever. They will call me, find out what the issues are, and then we relay it. So I went back to my military days, and I did me a flow chart. So when I find something, when I identify what I want, I call my secretary, and I call my most, my biggest activist. And then everybody knows to call somebody else, and we get the word out to the top 50 people that I need to get to. And that's how we build dirt out in the community. And that works for me because my workers are elderly, and they don't rely on the computer. They rely on word of mouth. Well, it's pretty slow, yes. Our internet access is good. And see, that's a big thing. When I want to go into the neighborhoods and tell people how this election affects you, and whether it's, legalizing marijuana, or criminal justice reform, or getting better internet. Because we had an issue. We complained, so we had 3 AT&T executives to actually come to Houston County, and they were going to upgrade our system for free. And at the time, the mayor that we had, for whatever reason, shot it down. So I just made sure that got out into the community. And you know what? She's no longer our mayor. We got a new one. So just got to make it, out to the people.
What we did in 18 was that we made push cards, like you were saying earlier. We had 2 different sets. We had one with every Democrat on the ballot, and another one every African American on the ballot. We walked those neighborhoods. That was the last time I was able to actually walk, but I walked my precinct along with the lady running as tax assessor collector. And we went out and we spoke to the people who were willing to listen to us and let them know what the few of the candidates, what they wanted to do to help them. We also let them know that you don't start at the top, you go from the bottom up on the ballot as far as who you want to go for. When you vote, of course, it's about this all the down, but we want them to know that the people at the bottom of the ballot are the people who affect you directly. Those are the people who will be able to get things done in your neighborhood more speedily. You can't go to the congressman to get your street fixed. So if you have somebody in place that's willing to work with and for you, that is the most important thing. We not only have those push cards from the neighborhood, we kept some back so that after that we had poll watchers at each precinct who was able to give them the remaining cards. Even though you can't, they couldn't share that information when they went into the polls, but they were able to see who it is that the Democrats were representing them. As long as they did that as a past election judge and election judge liaison, I know that they can't show it to the world, but they can use that as their own cheat sheet and put it in their pocket and walk out with it. And that's what we're going to do this time around, because there is no, we cannot do straight ticket anymore. They need to know who is going to be represented, who is Democrat, and I am a strong Democrat, and I believe in Democratic values. That those the Democrats are people who want to help you directly. We're not trying to take anything from you. We're trying to add to your life. Blessings.
I have a question to ask you guys before I answer that question. How many of you read the billboards when you're driving down freeways? How many of you pay attention to the billboards? Okay. I remember once driving from one city to another, and I remember reading a billboard that said, because I enjoy reading billboards, and I remember one that said, does, and then just one word, does. Second billboard said billboards. Third billboard says work. And then the last one said, it just did. It just did. And so I take that, I've always kept that in my mind. So what I'm working on now are yard signs for precinct chairs. I'd like to see every precinct chair, and I gave you a number, 236, with yard signs that says no, second, more, third, straight, fourth, tickets. And then on the other side, your community matters, read. That's a good conversation to start with. So we say no more straight tickets within these yard signs. Perhaps someone will begin the dialogue and the conversation. Maybe someone will come to the precinct chair's door. I don't know, but it's a good strategy. I'm real big on offense instead of defense. So that's one way. Another one is, I can't stop saying that, is communication. We are reaching out and message every single available message board. Text messages, we want to put monies in that system. We want to put monies in Facebook. We want to put, all of our energies, I say money, but I mean energies, in our Facebook, online, digital thinking, and as well as those that don't like that. We still have, we're catering to different age groups. We've got millennials who would prefer digital, right? We've got the older generation who would prefer FaceTime. And also mail-outs. So whatever, we want to serve every one of these people in our communities just to get the message out. And then I think we have done a bit of our part and we can communicate on all of this.
Thank you so much, Paula. I appreciate that. So, I'm going to touch on something that I do want to shift again and talk about the importance of African American women being in leadership capacities in civic and political outlets. I had the opportunity to work in partnership with the Collective PAC this summer to host the Texas Black Campaign School, right, to train the next wave of Black political operatives, elected officials, things of that nature, fundraisers, field operatives, because we're needed everywhere across the state of Texas. And so my question is, what are we doing as African American women to harness our power? And not just to run for a public office, but to serve in other capacities, right, within the civic and political sphere. I'm currently running one of the local city council races in Houston, for Houston City Council District D. Dr. Carol Nevich is one of 3 women out of a candidate pool of 16, right, who rose to the top with little or no money, right? And Anita touched on that earlier. And so we not only got to identify what we need to do. She's currently in a runoff now, right? Right. So she made it over the top as a top delegate, right? And so we need to identify what are we doing as a collective, right, to support African American women. We're not just running for public office, but that are serving in other capacities. We need more women who are more African American women in the space of political strategy, right? Voter mobilization, voter education, we're needed everywhere. So what are you all currently doing to inspire and educate and inform and empower other women to get involved?
Right now, most of us are from different counties. Each of us need to consider going back home and putting together a group. It doesn't have to be big. It just have to be a start. It can be a start in just your precinct. You gotta remember, women work at home and then they go punch a clock at a job. They're the best managers we have. All they need to know is that something else exists. If they just know that, they're going to want to be a part of it. So you just have to start. I'm going to just be short on it. You just have to start somewhere. Once you start, you have other people or groups that can assist you. You ask a question. You start asking questions of the city council person. I'm trying to do this and so. Can you help me? If it's Democratic, you can ask your party chair. If your party chair is not helping you, you can go to the state. You just have to ask the question. The other thing is, when you start, you got to be inclusive. Don't let it be all white hair in the room. You got to have some high school students and college students there too. You'll be surprised the ideas they have. And then when you meet, listen to them. Don't just sit them down and say they're going to do it this way. Listen to them. Because since times have changed, you may need to do it a different way. Your Democratic Party have tools. One of them is a hustle. You can contact 50 people in 1 minute on the text with hustle. So you have too many tools now to use. You just got to get started. And even though it's all women, whenever you have something, don't exclude the men. Let them come if they want to come. But you got to make sure you identify what your mission is and what you're trying to do.
I was going to say, mine would be identify, encourage, empower, and then continually communicate. Because if you all remember that movie, The Greek Wedding, and what did she say? She said, the men are the head, but the woman is the neck, and the neck turns the head. So identify strong women with potential, in any area, because nothing is unimportant. Then encourage them, then give them the tools, empower them to be successful, and continually communicate and feed them with the information that they need. And you will see it's just like that snowball. It'll keep growing and growing and growing. And for me, I like to identify different areas that I want us to infiltrate, to, be different. And one, like my goal now is my commissioner's board. It's all men. And I thought in 2022, we are going to infiltrate that and we're going to make a change. As the current, I'm about to play my first African-American tax assessor, and I'm running my first African-American county sheriff. And my goal is not that I don't just want them to be African-American. My first thing is I want them to be Democrats. And then I tell them, you know what, if you're sitting in the room and me talking to us, about us, for us, makes you uncomfortable, then you have to decide. That's that's your problem, it's not my problem. Another thing I say in my club is that, you know, the weapon of mass destruction is old white Republican men. One time I said, old white men, my Democratic guy said, Sharon, I'm one of those. I said, no, old white Republican men, weapons of mass destruction. So, anyway, again, identify, encourage, empower, and then continually communicate.
I want to piggyback on all that you've already said, but I also want to reflect on the fact that we don't know everything. There's always a younger woman out there who might be better educated, more forceful, can create an atmosphere of inclusiveness. We need, as seasoned, I'm speaking from the seasoned perspective, we need to let them be us sometimes.
Absolutely.
Right? Because a lot of times they can reach others in their age group, in their neighborhoods, better than we can. Because a lot of times, seasoned women, I'm speaking for myself, not all seasoned women, we tend to dictate what needs to be done rather than including everybody else and let them take the torch and continue it on. So if we reach out to younger women in our neighborhoods, in our community, in our county, and let them take that torch and keep it, that will help the party in the long run.
I want to include something. In my meetings, I have one granddaughter, she's 12. She belongs to NAACP, she belongs to junior, whatever. She's the first person, because I tell them, I'm not going to ask you all to do anything that I myself and my family is not going to do as well. But there's another little girl that always comes to my meeting. Her name is Brianna. And so about 2 months ago, I let her speak. And she got up and she said, my name is Brianna. She says, I'm going to do just what Miss Sharon is doing. I'm going to be you all's leader in property. And she says, then I might run for president. So I consider, at that point, I considered myself a success.
For me, I'd like to get a little intimate, if that's okay, with you guys in conversation. For me, looking at me, you may not know this, but at the age of 4, I was adopted. And I made a choice as a teenager never to hold my head down or question my identity. I could use it as a crutch, but I chose not to. I chose to, whatever choices my biological mother made, that's her choice. I chose to forgive her, but I was never going to use it as, I tried in elementary school, and I had an inspiring teacher who said to me, because I had moved the homework, so I went to her with weeping tears and told her, she said, you know what, I don't care, get over there and work. So whatever my condition was, she was not interested. She was interested in the outcome. And the outcome had inspired me for years. And it not only did my past help me, but it shaped me. It shaped me for days like this. It shaped me for getting on battlefields. I don't use excuses. We all have them. I choose not to. So what I do is, as women, we can choose to pull each other down, and we can do that pretty well, or we can choose to lift each other up. I choose to use my words kindly to others and lift you up. I was speaking to a sister just in this event here who has shared to me that she's interested in a political position, and I encourage her. I choose to encourage. And not only do I choose to encourage, the community. I'd like to give a call back to the people, the voters, that's who they are. They're the ones that's in control. We're servants, and I try never to forget that. I try to stay humble before people, and when I can't stay humble, I smell myself. No one needs to tell me, say, okay, Paul, I smell your attitude, bring it down, baby. And that's the position that I take. And second of all, I put the capital behind the words. So I encourage my sisters by pulling out my dollars. I support you. Because I can tell you I can support you, but I can turn to this sister and choose not to. I can turn and tear that person down. But if I'm putting my investment in you, I'm not going to tear you down. I'm going to lift you up.
I know we are running out of time, but I do want to give each of our panelists an opportunity with the closing remarks. First, starting with some of your major priorities and issues are for 2020. I can start this way.
I try not to talk too much. I really do. But for me, 2020 is quite important. If someone asks me what keeps me up at night, it's not necessarily my job, although I love my job. I'm in finance, but it's this election. It's this presidential election. I'm terrified that we may wake up November the 6th, I believe it is, with the same man in office. We have to take this personal. You know, so often I used to say it's not personal, it's business. That's what I say in my business. But here I'm telling you, take it personal. Make it matter. Your vote matters. Take that energy back to your voters. As many people, whatever God so allowed position or stage He sets for you, utilize that to the fullest of your ability. Because at the end of the day, we've got to get Him out of office. So for me, I'm having this conversation now. I would like those yard signs right away. You know, just educate the people, educate. And I don't think we can stop doing that. And as I said a moment ago earlier, that our work is never done. As a matter of fact, we are probably standing on the shoulders of a previous generation that encouraged us.
My goal is to continue to register people to vote and get them out to vote, and also to let them know that their voting is not a choice, it's a necessity. You can't expect others to do for you what you have the opportunity to do for yourself.
One of my goals is, and I ask everyone here, if you are not a member of the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats, please join. Because one of my goals is to elevate that organization, get people involved, because everyone says how African American women will play a key role. And so the African Americans as a whole will play a key role. And so if we are touting that we are the #1 state in the United States with the largest African American population, then we need to show it. And we need to show up and show out. And because I'm excited about that because I think we're going to deliver some key results. I don't think we're going to wake up January and that same person's going to be in office. I'm getting my goodbye signs. I've already wrote them. I've already invested like $20. That I'm there. So, and I would say, encourage young women. As I mentioned earlier, I'm prior military, and my daughters, I have 2 daughters and a son, and they would tell you how dysfunctional I made them. But I always tell my girls when they were younger, solve the problem. Cry later, do all that, solve the problem. And I used to come home and do crazy things in my home and hide and on the refrigerator here, solve the problem, do the work. You can talk about it later. And so with my girls, if they're out there, I know they have the tools to be successful and to solve the problem. So let's empower not only women, African Americans, and Democrats to solve the problem. Register, become involved, and let's deliver Texas. Because they tell me when you deliver Texas, You change the United States and you change the world.
Well, now is the time to know that we don't agree on everything. If Trump is the nominee for the Republican Party, I do believe he will win. Because there's too many of them that never voted will come out right. These, and he make the nomination again. Based on the fact that he don't get indicted first. The other thing is, I've always said, there are, let me go to the other thing. Let me go to the, where I'm working on now. Right now, I'm looking at our mayor being reelected. There has never been in the past where a current mayor did not get reelected. That's number one. And a lot of people are looking at the fact that there may be some problem with the storms or whatever. But I do believe our mayor will be reelected. And going back to the thought I forgot was, there are no permanent friends or enemies in politics. No permanent friends or enemies in politics. Case in point, Shakira and I have been on the same team in the beginning, working for the same candidate, and then we had opposite candidates. But we are still friends. Why do y'all have to hold it in your heart for dear life? Because you're on the opposite side of the team. I mean, don't do that. This is how you learn and grow. There are no permanent friends or enemies in politics.
Let's give all of our panelists another round of applause for sharing our wisdom. We appreciate for your daily work and service to the community. And at this point, we're going to take a brief intermission and then we move to the next phase of the program. Thank you all.